Good morning, hope you're doing well. Going to be playing a little bit of Magic this morning. Got the humans list all loaded up, and I'm just going to quickly go through a few of the small changes that I did make. Most notably in the main board, I now have the Elite Spellbinder in the main board. I moved the Brutal Cathar over to the sideboard. You know what? The more I play in this deck, the more I'm not really sold on the Brutal Cathar. I have a feeling that other sources of removal just might be better, and I know I'm kind of attached to the Brutal Cathar because it is a human, but it has a lot of downsides. It doesn't get rid of the thing permanently. It is only a 2/2 for 3. The backside is not ideal. I think I might actually be exploring some other options in the 3 slot for this creature. The deck is a very aggro deck, so in game 1, we're the aggressor. We want to just take the opponent down as quickly as possible. So I think having the Elite Spellbinder in the main board to be able to deal with some of the disruption on turn 3, pretty ideal. And then, we're just trying to create a board and swing in and destroy them. So I found myself putting the Spellbinder into the main deck quite often in games 2 and 3, so I thought let's just put it in the main board and see how that goes. The only other changes were in the sideboard, and big one is putting in Portable Hole. I kind of overlooked Portable Hole. Great card against mono red or other aggro decks that are giving us trouble. There's that 2/2 vampire lifelink death touch that I'm forgetting the name. I think it's like an Aetherborn thing. I'll pop it up. This is really good for removing that. That card gives me a lot of trouble when it's on the field. So yeah, Portable Hole, pretty sweet card. It also works especially well with the Warden of the Sky because it is an artifact. And then the other big change is changing away from Rest in Peace to the Ghost Vacuum. I'm not 100% sold on the Ghost Vacuum just yet, but it is an artifact that I can be using to get rid of those targeted graveyard cards such as the Phoenix or maybe Soul Flare targets. If that happens, I don't think so, but the main one that's coming to mind is the Phoenix. Now I don't know if maybe just a Tormod's Crypt would just be a better card overall, but I wanted to go with another artifact to be able to trigger the Warden of the Sky. And since I am playing Extraction Specialist, the Rest in Peace was kind of a nombo with that, and it's also 2 mana, so in the end I decided to move away from the Rest in Peace. I think Grafdigger's Cage might be a really good choice for a Azorius or mono-white, pure mono-white humans deck. Of course we have Collected Company, so we don't want the Grafdigger's Cage, but if we dumped the Collected Company, putting in the Grafdigger's Cage would be probably pretty good. So I'm going to explore a few other things with that kind of bit of tech. What am I going to do with the opponent's graveyard? I'm going to try it out, see how it works. So this is what we're playing with right now. Jump into a few games and see how it plays out. Hopefully, I think try to get in 3 good matches. See you over there. All right, on the play against TC Magic, opening hand. Pretty cool. Nice, low to the ground. We'll get out with the Warden of the Sky nice and quickly, and then eventually we're going to be scrying with this card, I think, to try to find a usable 2-drop, 3-drop for turn 3. Turn 2 is going to be a little bit scuffed with just these 2 coming out, and then of course we're playing for the turn 4 Collected Company, as you do. Well, I guess we're not playing for the turn 4 Collected Company anymore with the Thoughtseize falling down. I've been seeing a lot of mono black opponents these days. In fact, yesterday I ran into a mono black deck that was running some pretty nasty board sweepers before another Warden. I guess we'll stick to the plan. Before yesterday, the mono black decks, or they were kind of split, sometimes going Rakdos, I don't think we want another Plains, or some other splash colors. They weren't really running board wipes, but this one had Deadly Cover Up. It also had the one that removes odd or even. I can't remember. There were a bunch of horrible board wipes though, and yeah, it was pretty rough. Okay, so the opponent plays out a Mutavault. They have a 2/2 blocker. I think what we're going to end up doing is putting out the Warden of the Sky, trying to scry into a 4th land so that hopefully this Collected Company can come down. Okay, let's stick to the plan. Enter tapped. and I think it's fine to attack in with the 3/4. What could they possibly have to do with that? All right, opponent, we're down to 1 card. They have 7 in hand. This is pretty typical. Like I said in the intro, we are the aggressor in this matchup, or in every matchup, especially game 1. So build a board. I'm not too afraid of Liliana. They can... yeah, that's the better play. I was really hoping they were going to make me sack just the Hopeful Initiate, but... yeah. Okay. Thalia's coming down. I think pretty simple play here. We will scry once again. Okay, we'll keep that. At least their discard is now offline. We'll take their Liliana off the field, get them down to 14, and then we are in pretty good shape on turn number 5 to throw down the Thalia's Lieutenant, but very susceptible to a lot of nasty things, especially board wipes. I don't imagine they have board wipes main board though. Who would do that? Who would do such a thing, right? Anyways, early morning, 7:46. It's going to be a challenge for me to film these. The schedule is not any better than it used to be. Still a lot of work, a lot of other things, but I got to find time to be able to... Oh, well, are they dead? I'm not going to do any math. You just click the button, you attack all, and this is, yeah. This is how the deck works. All right, they're very dead. So that's a good game 1. But yeah, like I was saying, got to find time to get these games in. And that's going to be a little bit of a challenge. I think for games number 2 and 3, we're going to bring in the Giant Killer because I probably want to deal with the demon that the Unholy Annex will eventually make in the Ritual Chamber. And then they're going to probably have a Shieldred. We're going to want to take that out. Portable Hole is an option, but again, these mono black decks, sometimes they're playing the Blade of the Oni, sometimes they're playing the Aetherborn that I'm still forgetting the name of. But I didn't see it, and so I don't want to bring it in, but I should just bring it in. I'm not afraid of the Blade of the Oni, because we can go over that. I'm just afraid of the Death Touch creature, and I don't think it's really worth bringing in the Portable Hole for just that. The Hopeful Initiate, yeah, Unholy Annex would be a good card to take out, but I don't think it's really necessary. And then the Brutal Cathar could come in over the Elite Spellbinder, but I think I would rather have the Spellbinder. I think it's a very simple change, just the Giant Killer for game 2, and we'll see how it plays out. This game against this matchup against the Mono Black really tends to come down to whether they have that burst of removal for my early creatures. Okay. Now here's a question. Do you run out the Giant Killer on turn 1 to have something on the field? I don't hate it because obviously we're on 2 mana only. We have Collected Companies that we will be playing on turns 4 and 5 if we get to that point, if they don't have any disruption with the Thoughtseizes, and let them use their Fatal Push on something like that instead of on my Copper Coat or on the Thalia. So there is the Blade of the Oni, like predicted. I'm going to throw out the green side of this flip land, and I think that's fine for the most part. We definitely want more white sources, but for the most part, we don't have to make a decision later, and I want to make sure if I draw a bunch of planes in a row that I'm still going to be able to get this down. 3 Collected Companies in hand when I have a Thalia on the field is a little sketch. In this position, I don't know what I want to do. If I want to throw down the Copper Coat to have a little bit of better protection on the Thalia, or if I want to throw out the Thalia's Lieutenant, I think it's the Lieutenant, try to grow the Lieutenant a little bit, and then allow the Thalia to be slightly vulnerable so that if they do end up removing the Thalia and we draw land, we have access to the Collected Company. Thalia and Collected Company are always this like weird balance thing. Of course, you want to have her on the field because it slows the opponent down so much, but then it also slows down your Collected Company. But majority of the time, they're using the removal on Thalia. Thalia she never stays on the field. This poor girl always getting wiped out. Making them pay 4 for the Unholy Annex is pretty cool. We are getting dinged because the Blade of the Oni is a demon. And we draw the card we didn't really want. I really wanted a land there, obviously. Am I staying back on defense or am I swinging in with the Thalia? The Thalia is going to get in. I think it's fine. There's no way they put anything in front of this. The Blade of the Oni having Menace is pretty obnoxious. Really, they throw the Blade of the Oni underneath the Thalia. They value saving 4 damage over having a demon. Oh, well. I guess that makes sense. I am a little bit exposed here. So yeah, the Extinction Event, I mentioned it just a few minutes ago, seeing more decks running this, and we miss again on the land. The deck, I believe, is running 23 lands, and I don't tend to have a lot of issues with lands, but when it happens, right? Still, I don't think this game is out of reach right now, especially with the 3 collected companies in hand. It's getting out of reach though. There it is, but it is a painful land to draw. Man, this game just didn't really go my way, did it? Okay. They have 6 mana up. Perhaps I should be bringing in, yeah, I think I don't even show them. I'm dead in the air to the 6/6. This is going to trigger next turn, so let's not show them. I mean, I guess they saw the reveal, right? Good game, the opponent says. So do I want the Brutal Cathar? I don't know if I want the Brutal Cathar. Yes, no, you think it's the portable hold that comes in. It deals with the demon. It'll also deal with the Blade of the Oni. It'll deal with that Aetherborn. They must have it. I don't think I'm going to worry about the Murderous Rider. Yeah, it's not such a big deal. But I do think I need the Giant Killer. Or not the Giant Killer, the portable hole. Just to be able to get something through. But what do you cut in this case? I really like the Extraction Specialist in this matchup because the mono black deck doesn't seem to exile too often. So I think we'll just do a slight cut on the Thrabins, maybe 2. Man, I hate cutting Thraben because of that clue. It's so good when it happens. I think we'll try something like this. But we're on the play. Sideboarding. I've been out of the game for a little bit too long, and sideboarding is definitely something that I think you have to keep on top of to do well. There's a land heavy, plains heavy deck. Plains heavy opening hand. Now you really got to keep on top of the meta, keep doing a lot of reps to have a really good idea of how to sideboard. And I have certainly lost that instinct, that edge of being able to sideboard even moderately well. I would never say that I've ever been an expert sideboarder, but it is what it is. All right, Warden of the Sky out. Warden of the Inner, I should say the name properly, I suppose, but I'm going to keep calling it Warden of the Sky. Opening hand is fine. The Thoughtseize a little bit obnoxious because they get rid of the Thalia's Lieutenant. I really wanted that. Now here's a crazy thing. Do I run out a Giant Killer and a portable hole just to get a scry off? And I think that is probably insane, right? So the better thing is definitely just to attack in with the Warden. And I think I'm going to put out the Giant Killer. The Giant Killer does have the activated ability, which last game I may have totally ignored because I was so pinched on mana. I think I wasn't even considering it, but perhaps I should have been. I'll have to check back on the edit to see how badly I messed that up. Okay, Militia Bugler hitting the field. Let's see if they allow me the scry. The scry, man, I wish, could you imagine this not having this sentence right here? activate only as a sword. Ooh. Ooh. When I made the deck tech video, I think I said, oh, I only whiff on the bugler like 1 in 10 times or something like that. And it's all, there's no truth to what I'm saying. It's just speaking. Still, the opponent maybe kept a removal heavy hand. Remember what I said about the Murderous Rider not being too much of a concern for me? I think it might actually end up being a bigger concern than I thought originally. Man, talk about good hits on this. Just imagine if it were a little bit more balanced out. If this first bugler hit like one, it shuffles randomly, one of those 2 drops, and then I could have had the Adeline on the 3rd one. What can you do? All right, Murderous Rider out. This game's just not going my way. It's rough. Anyways. I have been debating how I want to make these videos, and one thing is, do I want to keep only good matches in, and how much do I want to cut out? And the interest of saving my time, I don't think I'm going to be scrapping too many games. I definitely don't want to be playing games that are just like, oh man, imagine, I need a land. I don't want to be playing too many, or including too many videos in the gameplay where it's just like a scuffed game where the game just didn't do anything. And that happens. Sometimes you queue into opponents and they just like auto concede right away. You'll be cutting those. But a game like this, it's been an okay back and forth. Obviously, game 1, we ran over the opponent. Game 2, my deck just didn't really function properly. In game 3, it's looking a little bit rough. I know I have a board in that, but... maybe not. The opponent is down to 4. We'll see. They have 5 mana. Surely they can do something. I'm really surprised that attack went through. I thought for sure that they would have some kind of removal for the Adeline. That's wild. Might be in pretty good shape. I thought I was cooked. Speaking of being cooked, so if they have Extinction Event again, they're going to be removing Even. Even is going to get rid of these 3. Sorry, not Even. Odd is going to get rid of these 3, but it leaves me with Athalia's Lieutenant. But they have that card still exists? And there's the Gifted Aetherborn. Give me a land. So it is called Aetherborn. I never ended up looking it up. I just started recording. But this is the pesky little fella that I couldn't remember the name of. The Gifted Aetherborn. The lifelink, whatever, but the death touch is just vicious. Yeah. Okay. Wow. Look who's showing up right on time. Although I like the Adeline, I'm gonna throw out the Bugler. It's hopefully gonna find me something now. Oh, this is. Oh, I got. Oh, the auto tapper. Oh, this sucks so much. I still think I'm gonna take the Warden. Man, gotta play better. Imagine having the Warden of the Skies on the field right now and being able to tap the Portable Hole and the Vanguard with the Warden to scry something. That could have turned the entire game for me. Wizards. I guess I get the logic of why it would tap. I'm upset. I'm actually upset right now. So they have removal. This has got to be 100% removal because they want me to block with the Bugler. They push the Vanguard, I think, and kill it with Death Touch. I think that's what they were looking for there. So there's no block. Oh, I can't handle it. It's too much. Okay, it tapped properly this time. So this is sweet. The opponent's without cards in hand. I get a look at some awesome cards. What do I want? Do I want the Thalia or the Warden? I think I actually value the Warden because I'm on 4 mana. And if next turn I end up scrying here into a 3-drop, it's going to be a lot better to be able to play out a Warden and another 3-drop. Put that on the bottom. Okay. Meat Hook Massacre. I'm seeing cards that I actually haven't seen in ages today. Ritual of Soot, I forgot, is even a card that exists. Meat Hook Massacre, man, I remember that being great. More Gifted Aetherborns to ruin my day. Okay. And you just main phase it, right? They have the Mutavault up to be able to block. That's a pretty bad hit. I was really hoping for like a pumper. But we'll set up for, okay. We should be fine. I think it's better for me to just ease up for a second. We're 17 life, they're at 6, they're on 1 card. They're drawing with the Castle Lochwain, but every time this is doing at least a little bit of damage to them, they draw a Mutavault, so that's fine. Down to 5. Are we gonna get it? Blade of the Oni is not the scariest thing. As long as this Collected Company hits a little bit properly, we are professional player. Look at this schmuck trying to pretend he knows how to play this game and trying to give people on the internet some advice about how to play this game. Maybe I should have attacked in with the... Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. I'm building a build a mountain out of a molehill or whatever. What did the opponent say there? I saw something flash up. I forgot. So this is truthfully the first game that I have played while recording, and I completely forgot how much harder it is to talk into a camera and narrate what you're thinking and what you're planning on doing while playing the game. But it is what it is. That's a win. We count that one. Let's see if we got some more in us. Next one. All right, on the play again, getting lucky. And hey, I like that hand. That's a thing of beauty. So the Warden of the Inner Sky, this is my combo. Warden of the Inner Sky plus Thraven Inspector on turn 2. Pretty sweet. Okay, we're against a Phoenix player. We'll see how the vacuum works maybe in this game. So I think I value the Scry quite a bit here instead of that 1 point of damage. It's not a big thing. And do I want a Bugler or do I want another card? I honestly value the Bugler quite high. I think next turn probably the Elite Spellbinder's coming down, but I don't mind drawing the Bugler. I have enough lands, so should be fine. Let's see what they have in their hand, and I think probably it's going to... We're going to get a Scry on the Warden again. Okay, the opponent has hit a Treasure Cruise in the graveyard there, which I think, well, they have 2 Treasure Cruises. So look at this. This is a whole lot of draw. So opponent hopefully going to just spin their wheels until I get up to this Collected Company next turn. We'll get rid of that, get in for 3, and hope we can aggro them down. While my opponent is drawing a ton of cards, a quick little thing, I'm going to make sure that I stay frame here though, but hey, help me out. Subscribe. I never really say that, but I hear it works. Subscribe and also like and write some comment down in the bottom, specifically a comment about how long you want your Magic the Gathering videos to go. I actually went and looked at some of my old videos last night and they were long. I had some that were like an hour and 20 minutes of gameplay, which I think that's just... If you're like me, when you watch videos, you just set them on the second monitor or whatever, and you don't even really listen to what the person's saying half the time. But if you are somebody that's sitting down and actually actively watching videos, I think in that case, you don't want your videos being that long. Okay, let's get easy peasy. So you can't just draw lands to win. You got to do something else. All right, so the ghost vacuums are coming in. We'll do it like that. So I have them on the side here. Well, that should be able to deal with the annoying Phoenix. Now, what other card are they bringing in? And is it necessary to bring in the Portable Hole or the Initiate? The Hopeful Initiate might actually be a consideration because they do have that blue enchantment that puts +1/+1 counters on things, and it would be really nice to be able to remove that. I think I don't hate actually bringing in one Hopeful Initiate, but I still got to cut some stuff. I think the Extraction Specialist is probably a cut here. The red deck tends to exile quite a bit, and then we still have to make one more cut, which might just end up being a Spellbinder. I'm taking away my high end. You know what? I think it's going to be a Warden. It dies. So does the Elite Spellbinder. And we'll try it like this. I'm not sure. But yeah, how long do you want your Magic videos to be? If somebody's playing some gameplay, do you want them to play like 3 best of 3, 4 best of 3? Do you want your videos to be around 30 to 40 minutes? Maybe even shorter? Can't keep that. We can keep that though. Let's toss back the Initiate. Although the Initiate's going to be kind of good with Thalia on turn 3 attacking in, but yeah, okay, we'll keep the Initiate. So the opponent keeping this up for, what do you think, a Consider? Is that what the card's called? An Opt? Maybe an Opt. They're going to kill my Initiate? Oh no. This card, seeing this card all over the place. Like I said, they want to exile stuff. Sure. Oh, Corey Steelcutter. So Corey Steelcutter is one of these cards that, of course, is everywhere. I talked about it at one point in some video, but there is a human card that I am wondering if I should be playing, and I think it's Lorraine, something like that. And I feel like it is probably a pretty good card to have in. Remember 1 out of 10? Yeah, 1 out of 10. That's about right. We should do the math on that. It might be a good idea to have that card in just to get rid of the Steelcutter. But the problem is, I don't want to craft a rare that may or may not work. What a cheap guy. Oh, the Fiery Impulse dealing 3 damage with that Spell Mastery to take out my poor Bugler. And of course they get in with that bit of damage. So this is not so bad. We got the Ghost Vacuum. I may as well exile the Phoenix now. The one reason I'm not a super big fan about the Ghost Vacuum is that it doesn't do enough against the Treasure Cruise. Exiling 1 card per turn probably cannot overcome like the delve cost of the Treasure Cruise. And in this case, the opponent does seem to be a little stuck on lands. And of course, they throw out a land as soon as I say that. But not being able to exile the entire graveyard is a huge downside of the Ghost Vacuum. Just doing 1 at a time, it is what it is. And then at the same time, the Warden of the Inner Sky does not really benefit from the Ghost Vacuum, whereas if I had a Grafdigger's Cage, I could be tapping the Grafdigger's Cage every time with the Warden of the Inner Sky, getting the scry off. This, I definitely want to keep this open. I think I have to, yeah, just wait and end of turn the Ghost Vacuum, just in case they get a Phoenix into the graveyard somehow. They might have another Lightning Axe to discard, and then one more 1-cost spell. But I think this game is kind of running away from me. Ooh. Could be an argument to keeping... Oh, maybe they want to do the... No. I love Core Steelcutter because I think it's such a cool card, but I think it's way too overpowered. The fact that it's... How did they print it like this? Whenever you cast your second spell, how is it not like whenever you cast your second instant or sorcery? It's a prowess thing, right? All right, we're cooked here. We'll take our 11 points of damage and... Oh, it doesn't matter. I think we hit some... I mean, honestly, it's not a terrible hit, but we're dead. We're actually not dead. Okay, hold up. Depending on what they draw, they are down to 1 card. It's a land. Could we see the comeback of a lifetime here? What are they going to do? Equip the Core Steelcutter? They do have the Brazen Borer, so I have to be aware of that. I think I'm still toast here. If only I could have pumped the Warden of the Inner Sky up a little bit more. There's nothing, right? So I can attack with the Adeleine, but I think as long as they throw that out, I can only get 1 counter on the Warden, and then I'm down. So, yeah, I don't know what I'm even thinking about. It's that early morning thinking, like, ooh, maybe the opponent forgets that the Brazen Borer exists. No, okay. All right. It is what it is. They had double Steelcutter, sure. So obviously I don't have anything in my deck that can deal with the Core Steelcutter right now, which is why I wanted to think about, I think it's Lauren. And what am I saying? I do have the Hopeful. Okay. I do have the Hopeful Initiate. I don't know. Again, early morning brain. We'll bring in the Hopeful Initiate. I think the Elite Spellbinder is probably just not going to be enough. And hopefully the Elite, the Training Boy can get some counters on it. I'm trying to think now. Did my opponent remove a Hopeful Initiate right away? He did. I played a turn 1 and they Fiery Towered or whatever the heck that card's called and exiled my Hopeful Initiate. So they knew sitting on 2 Steelcutters that, you know, I read a Reddit thread about somebody complaining about people calling Core Steelcutter because it's not Steelcutter, it's Core Steelcutter. So you shouldn't call it Steelcutter, even though it sounds kind of nice. Oh, it's a 4 of a kind with 1. Would it be insane to keep that? That's a Saffron Olive keep. Yeah, okay. So I gotta get rid of 2 cards. Do I get rid of my sideboard tech? Man, this sucks. This sucks. I think I don't, actually. I think I have to probably get rid of the Warden of the Sky. Man, talk about your bad luck. Game 3 hands. What can you do? Maybe I should have kept that 4 of a kind Thraben Lieutenant hand. So a little bit of a bad thing with these two. Hopeful Initiate has the training, but the other attacking creature has to have higher of course, should have dunked a land. Has to have higher power than the Hopeful Initiate. And unfortunately, with the +1/+1 from the Coppercoat Vanguard, they're both 2/2s, so I'm not going to be getting any extra damage from this. This is a sad way to go, isn't it? At least we had a good game 1. Game 2 wasn't too bad, but mulliganing down to 5 when your opponent keeps a full mitt, and then things not really working out. With the lands drawing. Now then again, hey, imagine I get runner, 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 Coco, 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 Coco. That could be fine. Okay. These cards are pretty bonkers. The class cards, the Artist Talent is just, it's a good card. There's a whole bunch from this Bloomborough cycle that are really impressive cards. Okay, well, at least we kept the Ghost Vacuum for, hey, maybe we flood out and then we get this thing, which I don't know if I've ever actually read this. Sacrifice this artifact. Put each creature exiled with this artifact onto the battlefield under control with a flying counter on it. Each of them is a 1/1 spirit in addition to the other types. So I can get a bunch of 1/1 Arc-like Phoenixes. That sounds cool. So the Hopeful Initiate, he sometimes extremely hopeful. No counters on it. Not really the most effective thing against the Steel Cutter. And now the opponent can attack in with a free 2/2 because it's an insane card. And we're still hoping for Eclectic Company. Yep. Magic the Gathering. I think we'll give it one more turn and then not waste any more time. Place your bets down in the comment. Am I drawing a 6 land? Hey, if I draw a 6 land, then I can activate the Ghost Vacuum. That's pretty sweet. So here they go. Here's the downside of the Ghost Vacuum. They're treasure cruising. They're just excellent. Yeah. I get it. I put in the Ghost Vacuum as something to try out, and I had reservations about it going into this, and I think my feelings have just been a little bit reinforced in this game. I'm going to try it a little bit more, but I think probably the Rest in Peace, even though it is an enchantment, is probably just the way to go. Opponent getting aggro with it. Look at me. Woo! Let's activate it. There should be an achievement for activating it. 1/1 Phoenix. Let's go. A little bit of a sad one. Doesn't matter. Let's keep going. All right, so we faced off against Mono Black, faced off against Phoenix. We're seeing some representative decks of the format. It would only be appropriate if game number 3 were against Yorion. And I don't want it to be against Yorion because it's obnoxious to play against, but we do pretty well against Yorion with the Humans deck, and I just don't know if I want to call something like this. Okay, let's see. Court System, what are you playing? I don't think I see the Yorion. No Yorion. Okay, hey, getting proper hands, that looks good. Oh, is it Phoenix? It's just Phoenix again? Okay, well, we get to give... Yeah, we'll put that out. We get to give Ghost Vacuum another shot and to see if it's truly useful or completely useless. Right now, things are looking pretty good. Hey, another Thraben. Okay, so let's... Oh, don't tell me you have... No, no. I'm scared. Does the opponent have... Okay, let's just go out with this. So no matter what, I'm going to get at least one scry off. If they have the tower to burn my warden, at least I wouldn't be able to use the other warden to get a scry off. I think, obviously, yeah, there's the tower. Okay, I'm keeping Thalia. Of course, you want to find the money card, but against Phoenix, Thalia is worth her weight in gold. Okay, opponent not doing much with the graveyard yet, but there's a Phoenix, so probably we're seeing a... Whoa, they didn't have it? Okay, I'm going to be greedy. I'm going to put that out untapped, just so I can develop a board. The idea here is I want a bunch of bodies on the field, just in case I can go Temple Garden into a collected company that I totally cannot cast. I'm thinking one step ahead when I need to be thinking 3 steps ahead. Genius. Still, it's good to have 3 men on the field. Well, you know, it's never a bad thing. Hey, maybe it was part of the plan all along, because next turn we're going to draw the 5th land without question. Hey, last game we had 6 lands, so we could activate the Ghost Vacuum. Surely my deck wouldn't punish me. Okay, my opponent... See, so there's the upside. Like I said, Thalia doesn't stick around on a board very long. Opponent takes care of it for me. Does the opponent have a 5th land to be able to... Oh, they don't. Sure. Yeah, I think this is probably GG. Woo! Okay. Those game 1s go really smoothly, and now I'm really worried for game 2 because they bring in a lot more spot removal, and I'm sitting here with a very, very questionable Ghost Vacuum and a Hopeful Initiate. I think I am still bringing in the Hopeful Initiates. How useful is the Elite Spellbinder? Like, it doesn't do anything in the air. It just gets punked by Phoenix, but if they don't have the Phoenix, it is getting in nicely over the Steel Cutter creatures. I'm going to keep calling it Steel Cutter. I still think I go down the Extraction Specialist, and like last game I cut the low end, and I think I kind of regretted doing that because I want to have a nice wide board so that when a Thalia's Lieutenant or Vanguard or Alien hit the board, like, it's presenting a lot bigger threat. They don't have a lot of creatures on the field. What am I saying? If they don't have a Corey Steelcutter, they don't have a big board, so like I can get in for a lot of little points of damage if I go wide. Okay. At least this is a keepable hand. The Thalia obviously slows down the collected company, like we've learned a bajillion times in this video. But I still think she's going to come down. She's probably going to get taken out very quickly anyways, so it's probably fine. Okay. Save a little bit of life with the Temple Garden tapped, and the next turn we'll go Thalia, maybe then to Adeline, and go from there. So let's hope Thalia holds. They can probably still activate the Steel Cutter, Corey Steel Cutter, with a Lightning Axe for 2, and then they have a land to play. Oh, whoa. Okay, well, things look fine, right? Next turn, collect a company because they took out the Thalia for me. As long as they don't have another Lightning Axe. Okay. Yeah, I think, what do you guys think? Is Lorraine, who I still don't know her name, is she worth crafting to be able to deal with the Steel Cutter? I think, now, it also has other upside because that card also takes out enchantments, I believe. I think it's enchantments and artifacts. I don't know if it hits something else, but hitting those two at the very least is probably going to be pretty sweet. Oh, my opponent with a desperate 3 mana treasure cruise, which I'm fine with. They cannot activate that Phoenix. And we have some pretty juicy stuff. I think I let 3 in. I don't care about 3. I'd rather keep the body on the board. Now, what's the play? Is the play Hopeful Initiate into Collected Company, or is it Thalia's Lieutenant, Hopeful Initiate to build just a big, beefy board? This would put my Bugler up to a 5/5, which would be pretty good at blocking and getting in points of damage. Yeah, this is actually a really questionable thing. I think it's probably the Hopeful Initiate, though. The Thalia's Lieutenant into the second Thalia's Lieutenant, and at least then my Hopeful Initiate will have, well, one quick thing I should mention. Hopeful Initiate doesn't require you to remove counters from the Hopeful Initiate. They can come off of any creature. So I now have a whole bunch of 1/1 counters on my things. If I need to get rid of the Steel Cutter, man, it's infectious to say Steel Cutter. Corey Steel Cutter does not roll off the tongue. Corey Steel doesn't roll off the tongue, but Steel Cutter flows so nicely. Okay. Odds of them getting this Arc-like Phoenix out of the graveyard this turn are very high, but I think we have a pretty good follow-up, obviously, with the Collected Company. Are they not getting it out? Wow. All right. Coco. Hey, why pay for your Thalia when your Thalia can just be free? I think it's fine. We're slamming. We're slamming. They got a block with pretty much everything, so let's just go. Oh man, I want a win over Phoenix so badly. I hate Phoenix. I actually really like Phoenix. I think it's a cool deck. I hate playing it. I don't play it well. But I wish I did play it well. 2 cards in hand with the second artist talent on the field now. They're desperately drawing. And, all right. Yeah, all right. Take them down. Feels good. Feels good. All right. That went pretty smoothly. I guess I do a wrap-up. That's what people do. All right, so 3 games, all good games. I was kind of going into this expecting to have a couple duds and want to cut them out or whatever, but hey, we went 3 straight awesome games, Mono Black, then Phoenix, 2-1. Honestly, I feel like that second game could have gone a little bit better had my hands drawn a little bit better in game 3. But I did like the game against Phoenix, the third game against Phoenix, keeping that lower end for game 2 did feel a lot better than the 3 drops, the higher end of the deck. So that's maybe something that I just need to work on improving a little bit. Overall, the deck is so sweet. You can see how it plays out. It's not the biggest brain deck, obviously, but I don't play big brain decks because I'm a small brain boy. You can do whatever you want with that comment. I love this deck. I do love the Selesnya version of it. I am going to be trying out an Azorius version of it, dunking the Collected Company, even though I love Coco. I do want to explore some other builds of the humans. But right now, I think humans they feel really, really good. Obviously, there are a lot of ETBs on these creatures, but and there are cards that hose that. For example, I think there is the Elvish Norn 4/5, I think it is. That card just turns off all ETBs from creatures, I believe, and there are other cards that do the same thing, but I never see those cards. So right now, it feels good to be playing this deck. I think the big takeaway, although I didn't get to play Ghost Vacuum in game number 3, I don't know. I got to think about it. I got to play a little bit more with it. I still think maybe it's Rest in Peace instead of Ghost Vacuum. Sure, the Nombo with Rest in Peace and Extraction Specialist is not really a big deal because you just take out the Extraction Specialist when you bring in Rest in Peace. Not a big deal. But like Rest in Peace is so strong. I was just like maybe coping a little bit when I thought Ghost Vacuum could maybe do a better job than something like a Tormod's Crypt or a Grafdigger's Cage. Tormod's Crypt might be something to explore because you can still tap it with the Warden of the Inner Sky on those turns where you feel a little bit safe. But then again, that's pretty risky. Word of the Inner Sky being sorcery speed, not instant speed, does probably invalidate that. Again, I'm probably just coping with the idea that I'll be able to tap the Tormod's Crypt confidently and allow my opponent to just pop off on the following turn when I tap it down. That's probably a stupid idea. It's probably just rest in peace. Anyways, you made it to the end of the video. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know how you thought this gameplay went. First gameplay in a long time, but I have a whole bunch of decks cooking, and I'm going to go practice them after, well, it's 8:30 now. I have a lot of time this morning. Do a little bit of exercise and get ready for my day, but then we'll practice some of those other decks. So again, help me out, like, subscribe, comment down below, hit that bell, ding, ding, ding. A friend messaged me saying, hey, I got a notification that a Apogee MTG video popped up in my feed. It was pushed to my phone. That was the first time I heard somebody say that, so that was pretty sweet. You could do the same thing. You can make me feel happy. Don't you want to make me feel happy? That's it for today. Have a good day. Enjoy your week and all that other good stuff. See you in the next one. Goodbye.